tickers get high. Charge through the wave like they know I'm that guy. Bulls break loose when I whisper a trade. Stocks in the red, guess who got paid? Strutting and swayed with the alligator boots. Your lady by the waist, now she loving my moves. Yeah. Ticker tape fall like confetti in the air. I make a bear turn bull with a devilish stare. Woo! Velvet Kohrs, feather in the hat, diamonds in the door. Velvet Kohrs, turn 1 into 10, then flip it some more. Kohrs, cash like waves, keep crashing the shore. Better cover the game, better check the scoreboard. Got that Midas touch, every bet go gold. While you playing checkers, I'm running the whole board. Limit up, limit down, baby, I don't flinch. Dipped in velvet, pockets deep like a trench. Got my feet on the desk, Wall Street's on my line. Ring, ring. Saying, Velvet, how you do it? Every call so divine. Told him, listen, little player, I was born to shine. I see green every morning when I open my eyes. Ooh, they jealous of the game. Velvet Kohrs, ooh, they whisper in my name. Velvet Kohrs. Velvet Kohrs. Charts go wild when I step on the floor. Velvet Kohrs. Been so hot, gotta mop up the floor. Velvet Kohrs. If I cash out, market begs me for more. Velvet Kohrs. Drip too clean, yeah, my game too pure. Y'all ain't never seen a player this cold. Velvet Kohrs. Stealing your girl, printing money in gold. Velvet Kohrs. From the charts to the clubs, my legend unfolds. Velvet Kohrs. Y'all just watching while my pocket explodes. Oh, brother. Good morning, my fellow degenerates. It is a beautiful, well, depending on the side of the market that you're playing, it might be beautiful. It also might be absolutely disastrous. I don't know what you're trading, but it is, regardless, a Monday, April the 7th. I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. I hope you made a buttload of money on Friday, celebrated the entire weekend, and are ideally set up to make an additional buttload of money today, April 7th. Good morning. Hey, how are you? Oh, hey, right back at you. Good morning. Who do we have? Dude, you guys are up and early today. You're up and at 'em early today. Good morning. Folks, market's looking pretty rough. Not as rough as it was when the futures market opened up last night. At one point, I was seeing a drop of like 4 or 5%. We've recovered a little bit since then, but overall, it's still an additional gap down. Basically, Thursday was a gap down, Friday was a gap down, and now today, Monday, appears as if we're having another gap down, as in opening up below the previous trading session's low. So we're just like down. It's going to be wild. Absolutely wild, folks. We have so much to chit chat about. If I know many of you saw the update video that I put out last night, it was a little bit more comprehensive. I'll go over the key things you need to know in this morning's prep video. But like I said, I highly recommend watching the update video from last night, whenever I think we got it up around 6 or 7. But check that out, just because, like I said, it's a more thorough look at the current state of this tariff war, the trade war, whatever you want to call it. But obviously, at some point today, that information is going to be null and void, because I'm sure we're going to be getting a ton of updates. Today is the day that we're kind of expecting to hear from the rest of the world. Like, what is China's plan? What is the EU's plan? Vietnam, Taiwan, all Canada, Mexico. We're expecting to get some pretty serious updates of, is there going to be kind of brutal retaliation, or is it going to be kicking the can down the road and saying, okay, let's chat about this. Let's not get so crazy. If I had to guess based on the current set of news we already have, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I think some countries are going to come back and retaliate, and it's going to be swift and harsh, and then Trump's going to pop off. And then I think other ones, and once again, we've already been seeing a bit of this, are going to be saying, hey, whoa, white flag man, what do you want? Let's calm down. Let's not get too crazy. So I think it's going to be somewhere in the meeting. Emergency closed door Fed meeting at 11:30. That's not right. I saw that news. That's it's not an emergency closed door meeting. It's a closed door meeting, but it's not an emergency one. This was scheduled on April 3rd. I saw that making its rounds on Twitter. It's another piece of information that people are just accepting as if it's true without doing 4 seconds of research on it, but it is not an emergency meeting. There is a Fed meeting today, April 7th, or right before lunch, 11:30, but it was scheduled days ago. It's not an emergency meeting, which I think is important, because I think that's another thing of maybe people, like, it's prompting fear. So I believe being accurate with these little nuances is very important in a time like this. Is there a Fed meeting? Yes. Is it an emergency Fed meeting? No. And I just want to clarify it, because I think the emergency Fed meeting, that gets people even like more amped up of like, why are they doing that? Like, what's going on? So I think especially in heightened emotional moments like this, like, accuracy is truly important. So we have a lot to get into. A lot to chit chat about. I hope you had a great Friday night. I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're having a great morning. And let's just get into it, because I actually have quite a bit I want to talk about. Here's a little looky-see at this. What is this one? Peter Navarro says Vietnam's 0% tariff offer is not enough. It's the non-tariff cheating that matters. Well, that's not good. Vietnam trying to extend a little bit of an olive branch, and apparently the administration is spitting back in their face. But Dow futures fall 800 points, S&P 500 eyes bear market on Trump tariff collapse. We are that far away from a legit bear market. If you want to see how things are trending this morning, you can see we puked all day Friday, and now we gapped down. And if you look at the futures market, things were more extreme right here when the market opened last night at 6 p.m. Remember, that's when the futures market opens. It's 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. Sunday, we opened. We puked. We got a little bit of a recovery, but basically we recovered to right where we opened, when in reality, at first we opened and we vomited even more. You could see that on the S&P 500 and also the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, we basically puked pretty harsh, recovered all the way back up, and now we're right literally at the moment that we opened. So we're down about 2% this morning. And at one point at these extremes, around 19 o'clock, we were down around 4 or 5%. Like, this is brutal. But at one point last night, people were like, Jesus, like, was Cramer actually right about this whole Black Monday thing? The world would be surprised if he got something right. Regardless, the numbers are horrific. Market tumbles as 3-day sell-off wipes out 9.5 trillion. Not million, not billion. It took 3 trading sessions to just erase 9.5 trillion dollars. That is absolutely monstrous. This, as you saw the overnight, tariff war sparks Hong Kong stocks worst implosion since 1997. The overnight markets were wild. So the Hong Kong equivalent to our S&P 500 dropped 13% while we were sleeping. The biggest drop since 1997, with record equity turnover and indiscriminate selling. Like, it just pure on panic, pure on crash, pure on bear market, whatever you want to call it. It was really, really bad. And it's not just the Chinese stock market. We saw it across the board. We saw it going down in Japan, Australia, basically any major market you can think of was getting absolutely demolished. China discusses accelerating stimulus to counter Trump tariffs. Yeah, no shit. That's what you're probably going to do when you get knocked by 13% in one single day. I do want to remind you that they're not stepping down. Out of all the countries that, like, you could see right there, we had a little bit of breaking news of Vietnam saying, hey man, like, what can we do? China's going the other way. They're like, we are gonna fight you. China pledged decisive action to defend its economy a day after unveiling levies on American goods and export controls on rare earths to respond to Donald Trump's tariffs. This was announced last week. And if anything, over the weekend, people were saying, okay, like we hope that this is not accurate. We hope that it's a little bit of a bravado play, but over the weekend, both sides are going to talk. Cooler heads will prevail. And we were hoping that this was like going to last for one day. This idea of Beijing will continue to take resolute measures. Apparently, no. Over the weekend, nuh-uh, honey. There was no real progressive steps made. Some of the smaller companies, you have Argentina, Israel, Vietnam, Taiwan saying, hey, we would love to chit chat. But the EU, maybe we got mostly bad news, but there was a little bit of positive news I'll be covering in a second. But really China straight up said, no, we're gonna be taking this one to the mat. So I'm not expecting in the short term, as in like today, tomorrow, this week, I'm not expecting much relief from the tariff situation. There is a situation in which we get a little bit of relief in the market, but if we have it without real progressive steps being made in this trade war, I think it will be very much short-lived. EU seeks unity in first strike back at Trump tariffs. Right here, the EU agrees on a first set of countermeasures targeting $28 billion in worth of U.S. imports. Remember, this whole retaliation thing is very important because the way the Trump administration has set it up is whenever there is a retaliation, we just auto-retaliate. So it's very much like as soon as tensions go higher with someone else retaliating, the U.S. is going to go even higher. And then that's probably going to prompt the other side to retaliate. And you can see it just very, very quickly gets out of hand. So these two are the most important as of right now, China and EU. They are very, very, very large trade partners. And it seems as if our largest trade partners are the ones saying, okay, yeah, we're going to fight. Well, as I alluded to a bit ago, some of the smaller ones, not so much. But I also was saying there's a bit of positive news. Italy's foreign minister says the EU may postpone counter tariffs on the U.S. from April 15th to the 30th. We know right now the next schedule of some going into effect are on the 9th, this Wednesday. And then we got over the weekend that the EU wanted to clap back and they called out April 15th. But now, according to this guy, maybe it's right, maybe it's not. They're saying we might be kicking the can down the road to the end of the month. If that happens, all right, maybe there's a little bit of sentiment here that they need more time to actually strike a deal. So if this truly does happen, and also if we see other countries start to do the same thing of like, okay, we're going to retaliate, but we're going to need more time to figure out this, and kind of just opens the door for coming to an agreement before things like truly get out of hand. So something to pay attention to. This over the weekend, as I said, the smaller countries, some small of our trading partners, they're trying to get a deal. Vietnam has sent President Trump a letter offering to remove all tariffs on U.S. imports after Trump imposed a 46% tariff on the country. As you just saw from breaking news this morning, Peter Navarro said, nope, it's not enough. But at least some deal is attempting to be struck. Taiwan eyes zero tariffs with the U.S., pledges more investment. Once again, it's probably not enough at the moment. And this actually, if you check out their stock market, it's another one that just got absolutely destroyed. India is negotiating a bilateral trade deal with the U.S. and is unlikely to immediately retaliate against President Trump's tariffs. So yes, I'm showing you all this to show that this is no longer a uniform situation where all countries are agreeing, all countries are disagreeing. We have some that are choosing to take Trump to the mat, and that's going to be more of your China and your EU. And then we have other countries that are at the point of realizing that every single day, every single week that this goes on, there's going to be large impacts for the people of their country. So they're kind of trying to do whatever they can. On top of this, we saw positive news out of Israel. I know the president of Israel and Trump will be meeting and talking today, so there might be an update there. Over the weekend, we also saw similar positive news related to Argentina. Now, once again, these aren't necessarily the largest trade partners, but it does give you an idea that not all sentiment is positive, not all sentiment is negative. Well, obviously, not all sentiment is positive. The market is absolutely getting murked. Global route carries whiff of panic as Trump holds fast on tariffs. So it's even tough to say what was the biggest update of the weekend, but probably the biggest update was when the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, and I have another story on him that we got to chit chat about today, a little bit of rich people drama. But anyway, Howard Lutnick on a CBS interview Sunday morning, basically said, there's nothing that could happen between now and Wednesday that's going to stop us from putting the tariffs in place. As in, it's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of talks. Maybe there are. Doesn't matter. He basically squashed any hope that between now and the actual implementation of the tariff date, that he squashed. He's like, not going to happen. Not going to happen. The other update we got was Trump kind of popping off right here. This was early this morning. Oil prices are down. Interest rates are down. The slow-moving Fed should cut rates. Food prices are down. There is no inflation. And the long-time abused USA is bringing in billions of dollars a week from the abusing countries on tariffs that are already in place. This is despite the fact that our biggest abuser of them all, China, whose markets are crashing, just raised its tariffs by 34% on top of the long-term ridiculously high tariffs, plus not acknowledging by a warning of abusing countries not to retaliate. They made enough for decades, taking advantage of the good old USA. Our past quote-unquote leaders are to blame for allowing this and so much else to happen to our country. Make America great again. The thing I really want to get your thoughts on, do you really truly believe that there's no inflation? I mean, he said it all in all caps, and generally if someone on the internet says something in all caps, it has to be true. But I tend not to believe that whatsoever. Do I believe that inflation's been coming down for months and for quarters ever since that spike in June of 2 years ago? Yes, I believe it's trending down. But to say that there's no inflation, maybe I'm just like the nerdy dude who's trying to think of like, okay, is this a literal or figurative statement? But from a literal standpoint, of course there's inflation. So I'm a little bit confused. Inflation is gone. Warren, have you bought anything What do you mean inflation is gone? What magical stores have you been shopping in that you're like, nah, there's no inflation? Like, Jesus, I don't know where you're getting that one, but prices are still clearly going up. And I mean, is it trending in the right way? Yeah, for sure. And ideally, we take care of this problem faster than not, but Jesus, we're just at this continual thing of Trump wanting the Fed to cut rates, and eventually he's going to get it, but he's going to this point where he's like, okay, he's obviously, I don't know this for sure, but it very much seems as if Trump is trying to make the entire global economic situation so hostile that the Fed has no other option but to cut rates, because he knows some of his larger goals are going to require bringing the Fed fund rate down. Then before you know it, maybe we get some quantitative easing. And I bet by the time this guy ends his administration, the stock market will not just be at a new high, but I think we're seeing the early steps of him engineering it. So by the time he leaves, it's not just a new high in the stock market, it's like a ripping new high. So these are the painful early steps, but if you take a step back and really listen to what Lutnick is saying, Bessent is saying, what Trump and Navarro, if you really just listen to what the entire administration is saying, they're not really hiding it. They're not like using cute little words here and there. They're basically saying, it's going to be painful now. We're taking our medicine now. We're setting up a foundation to bounce off of this and lead the economy and the stock market higher. And this stuff takes time. But I mean, this just came out during the intro song. The U.S. has a chance to do something that they should have done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panicking, a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. So we're just getting a little bit of like early morning Goggins type of like, just like a pump up. Like, don't be a panicking, a new party based on weak and stupid people. I kind of like that. I kind of like, you got to just ask yourself, like, are you a panicking? A panicking? A new party? Dude, he just created, look at that. He's like a couple months into his administration and he's already creating an entirely new political party. A panicking. A new party based on weak and stupid people. As you can tell, chaos is all around us. Insanity is all around us. And it's even getting to the point that some of the world's most rich and powerful people are starting to say, what the fuck? Wall Street starts to speak out against Trump's tariffs. Bill Ackman was on one over the weekend. Bill Ackman, Pershing Square, you guys know him, rich, influential do. I just figured out why Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, is indifferent to the stock market and the economy crashing. He and Cantor Fitzgerald, that's his financial conglomerate, are long bonds. He profits when our economy implodes. It's a bad idea to pick a Secretary of Commerce whose firm is levered long fixed income. It's an irreconcilable conflict of interest. And I don't know if Howard Lutnick called him. I don't know if Trump called him. But before you know it, guess who was walking back his words? Bill Ackman. It was unfair for me to lash out at Howard Lutnick. I don't think he is pursuing his self-interest. I'm sure he's doing the best he can for the country while representing the president as Commerce Secretary. It's not an easy job, and we don't know how the sausage was made. Oh, man. What a time to use that idiom. I am just frustrated watching what I believe to be a major policy error occur after our country and the president have been making huge economic progress that is now at risk due to the tariffs. I would love to be proven wrong and watch this approach to tariffs and or their resolution be enormously beneficial to our country and to the global economy. Sorry, I just forgot when I was prepping the video that he said that. We don't know how the sausage was made. like the fact that this was so quick, I truly would not be surprised if Trump himself or Lutnick called Bill Ackman and said, "Watch it, buddy. Like, fucking, you better chill out on what you're saying." Especially because he does have quite the following and does have quite the influence. But the fact that he called out Lutnick's personal financial interest of being long bonds, which he is right by saying that's going to benefit if the economy is weak, and the economy is now weak. So on paper, maybe not locked in, Howard Lutnick's, like I said, financial interest outside of his current job, but really Cantor Fitzgerald, it's going to be up. It's going to be up. So that was some billionaire drama over the weekend, but it didn't stop there. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says Trump tariffs will boost inflation, slow an already weakening U.S. economy. He's not wrong. I mean, it kind of depends on how long this lasts. I don't think that the Trump administration really ever anticipated they would be in effect for that long. I think it's more of a very large, impactful negotiating tip. But I want to be clear on this. The market's taking a hit right now. This was bound to happen. I want to be very, 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 very clear here. It could have been Kamala Harris as president. It could be Trump. It could be you. It could be me. It could be my cat. It doesn't matter. Based on what happened circa 2020 and 2021 with monetary policy, the economy was on this path. And right now, the Trump administration is simply speeding it up. You will never convince me otherwise. When you print trillions and trillions of dollars, you balloon inflation, like eventually you're going to have to pay that bill. Eventually you're going to have to pay that tab. And I did a lot of research, and a lot of other way more intelligent people than I did modeled this out. And a lot of people were kind of saying, hey, okay, we know all these 5-year loans, they're going to become due probably within 5 years. So they were basically looking at 2026 as like the D-Day scenario. And right now, what's happening, Trump just like dramatically sped up the timeline. He said, nope, instead of waiting for then, we're going to do it now. So I want to be clear that regardless of who is this, it just changed the timeline. We were bound. We were already on this pathway. It was just a question of when. And apparently the answer to when is right fucking now. Wild. Traders see 5 Fed cuts in 2025 and risk of emergency move. Traders have increased expectations of the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates this year, with markets pricing in 1.25%, aka 125 basis points of easing by the end of the year. We covered this a little bit. Fed to have closed board meeting on April 7th. I want to be clear. People are calling this an emergency meeting. It is not an emergency meeting. I'm sure we've all been on X this morning. We've all been clicking around, doom scrolling, and you've probably seen it multiple times that people are calling this 11:30 meeting today, Monday, April the 7th, an emergency kind of like surprise meeting. It's not. This was scheduled back on April 3rd. I want to say it was scheduled last week, on Thursday of last week. We knew that this meeting was happening. It's a closed door meeting. It's a very serious meeting, but I want to clarify, it's not some sort of emergency meeting that came out of like nowhere from the weekend or something like that. Kind of the emergency, I guess, if you want to call that, they decided to do it last week. But these meetings, these closed door meetings, they do happen at a regular cadence. So like, it's not that big of a surprise. So obviously that's a piece of news. We have billionaire drama. We have trade wars. We have certain countries going one way, other countries going the other way. It's nothing but pure chaos. And just to make it a little bit more fun, I do want to remind you that we're getting inflation reports this week. So we kick going on Wednesday, FOMC meeting minutes. So that's not a new Fed FOMC meeting. That's just the meeting minutes from the last one. Then on Thursday, we get the inflation report, the consumer price index. And then on Friday, we get the producer price index. So basically, Fed update, inflation report, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bada bing, bada boom, just to all make it that much more fun. And we're also in earnings season now. Basically, as of Friday, a lot of people consider the Friday that we start to hear from major banks to be like the start of earnings season. So this Friday, JP Morgan, BlackRock, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, don't forget about that. We are basically starting earnings season once again. Before that though, tomorrow, I know some of you might care about Tilray, Walgreens. After the market closes today, Dave & Buster's, Wednesday of this week, Delta. So I just want to remind you, yes, and on top of all this overall generic market insanity, we are going back into earnings season. Speaking of individual companies, the TikTok deal stalled by China's objections to tariffs, according to Trump. China's objections to the new U.S. tariff stalled the deal to sell off TikTok and keep it operating in the U.S., according to the president. So TikTok, we know that Trump multiple times has stated he has the individual ability to like extend the deal. So he'll probably end up doing that if I had to guess until we figure out, I don't know, the tensions related to this trade war. So I wanted to call that out. With respect to seasonality, I know it doesn't seem it because the market is absolutely vomiting, but April historically is actually one of the most bullish months of the entire year based on just seasonal data. Over the past 5 years, you could see April, yes, it favors the bulls. And actually the week we are starting right now is the fourth most bullish week of the entire year, at least on the last 5 years worth of data. I know that could seem crazy given all the insanity right now, and obviously what's going on this week, this month, this year is very different than the same time period that we've seen historically. So you could say, dude, I really don't care about seasonality right now. This is much more of a news-driven type thing. And you're not wrong. I just wanted to let you know about that. Don't forget, sign up for this. This is 100% free, mattkohrs.locals.com. This has always been free, always will be free. Every single Sunday, you're going to get this newsletter to your email inbox where I break down the week and all the major things to pay attention to, all of the earnings. I highlight the ones I think you're going to care about the most. I give you an idea of the major macroeconomic events. For example, today at 3 p.m., we're going to get an idea about credit, which is very important in a situation like this. 3 p.m., so right at the start of Power Hour. And then I give you the seasonality for each individual day. So even though historically this week is favored by the bulls, this individual day, Monday, April the 7th, over the past 27 years, has actually been won by the bears. The bulls have won it about a third of the time, i.e. the bears have won it about 2/3 of the time. And here's a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought it open, sold at close, obviously trending down, 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 which means it's not very, like historically, it's not that beneficial to be a bull on this particular day. But I just want you guys to know the seasonality. And I really, really do understand and be like, hey man, I don't give a shit because we are in a pretty disastrous situation. This is a look at the weekly chart on the SPX, the actual S&P 500. And you could see from the all-time high to now, we are down 17.5%. At market open, we're going to be a hair away from a legit bear market. Remember, a bear market starts when you are down 20%. So SPX, the overall market here in the US, it is down and it is down bad. And then if you look at the other major markets, they are down even worse. So I'm trying to load NDX here, but for whatever reason, it is not loading. If you look at the NASDAQ, we're officially already in a bear market. It is down almost 22%. And then the small cap sector is the one that is getting by far the most manhandled. If you look at RTY, this is the Russell 2000, we are down 29%. So it's far past the bear market. So yes, things are brutal. Coming back to the SPX, you can see that we are near some pretty major levels, whether they're key technical levels, key psychological levels, and key open interest levels. As I was showing you back here, we're here. Let me upload this or update this just so we can see exactly. Oh, geez, in the time that I've been talking to you, we're down another 75 points. 5,000 is very, very important. 5,000 key technical level, key psychological level, key open interest level. It's the only positive gamma node I see on the chart today. You can see people sold a lot of puts and are long a lot of calls at 5,000. That's a bullish play. You can see people are long puts at 4,900. That's a bearish play. And you can then see people sold puts at 4,800. Actually, if you zoom out, you can see the biggest play of the day is right here. This is 121,000 contracts at 4,800. I don't know if I've ever seen a singular position this large. You know, when we talk about those JP Morgan positions having a huge influence on the market, and we're all like, every single quarter, we're like, where's the JP Morgan? Like, where's it going to expire? Like, what's the strike? Tell me. That's roughly the size of 40,000. I want to give you some context. Like those days at the end of every single quarter when we're all like losing our mind of like the JP Morgan, the roll, how are they handling their collar? That's 40,000 shares or 40,000 contracts. This is 121. This is 3 times the size of that position we watch every single quarter, knowing it has a huge influence. And we're saying, oh, it dwarfs everything. This new position dwarfs that other position that we thought dwarfed everything. That's actually fucking insane. So watch that. It's a huge level. Obviously, you got to be prepared for some like legitimate insanity. I know the market's about to open. These are the key levels I'll be watching at least out of the gate. Obviously, we have the high, the low, and the close of Friday. And then just looking at the positioning, we're opening around 4,900, key technical level, key psychological level. If this does not hold, I'm watching 4,800, the level I just showed you where we had a lot of short puts. And then if we bounce off of any of these, I'm going to be watching the next key level of 5,000. So we're basically working in 100-point increments, which is roughly equivalent to $10 on the SPY. Today, if there were any day that you should seriously consider sizing down, paying attention to your risk, and being very, very careful with your leverage, this is that day. And really, this entire time period has been that day. So, folks, buckle up. We're about to go to some insanity. Before the market really gets going here, I quickly wanted to shout out to Public. They are today's stream sponsor. You're about to see my positions open up and update here. This is where I trust almost $500,000 of my own dollars. This is, in my humble opinion, the best place to trade options. If you are an options trader or an inspiring options trader, this is the only brokerage I know of God's green earth that pays you a rebate every single time you traded a contract. Doesn't matter if you're buying or selling. Doesn't matter if it's a call or put. Every single time you trade an options contract, you will be earning a rebate. And on top of that, there's no commission fees. There's no per contract fees. If you're a stock trader, they don't engage in payment for order flow. If you are a bond trader, they have some of the best UI UX. They have crypto trading. They have a high yield account. They have retirement accounts. This is your one-stop shop for what you need. So check it out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. That rebate that I was telling you about, by definition, making it the most cost-effective way to trade options. If you want to start off at a higher rebate tier, it is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Use that link once again to start off at a higher rebate tier. Highly recommend you guys checking this out. There's a very, very important reason. Holy shit. I just made $80,000. So before, seconds ago, when I said there's a reason I trust them with almost $500,000 of my own dollars, you can see that we're actually literally at that $500,000 right now in real time. Fuck me. 55K, 56K, 15,000. Yeah, there is a very, very important reason why I trust this brokerage with all of this money. It's because in my humble opinion, why would you not trade on the place that gives you a rebate to trade? I don't think that there's any other one that has such competitive offers. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Remember, it's just money. You can't take it with you when you go. All right, so key things to pay attention to. Like I said, 4,900, we're at a key support right now. If this key support does not hold, we're looking another $100 lower. I don't really see much saving it in here. Of course, something might happen. You might want to watch 4,850. But the thing that really is, I guess, grabbing my attention, if you will, is this gigantic position at 4,800. 121,000 puts sold. Obviously, someone's feeling real good about that. And if that gets tested, we're already seeing chaos and pandemonium in the market. If this position gets blown out, folks, I don't even have that good of a guess. My biggest recommendation would be just buckle up for the ride, secure your stocks because you don't want to get them knocked off. But if 4,800 is taken out, fuck, man, I don't know. I can't even properly articulate how fucking insane this could be. And I'm already saying that with the backdrop that the VIX is already at 50. It's already at 50. And dude, be careful. Watch 4,000. I know that's crazy. I know it's 80 points away. I know this is all just fucking nuts that I'm even having to say that, but that's just legitimately where we're at right now. So watch 4,800. I didn't even have anything marked out below it. There are these extreme downside gaps. Those you can see it on the daily chart right here. We have gap fills to 4,421, 4,319, 4,245. Gap fill, gap fill, gap fill. If we get there, I don't even know if we can get there today. Technically, we can. So remember that's today's open. I need to do it from why is it not grabbing it? I'm trying to remember. We can get circuit breaker halts at 7%, 13%, and 20%. So 7% is closer to 4,700. 13% is going to be a little bit closer to 4,400. And then at 20% is where they turn the market off for the remainder of the day, which would be around 4,000. So those are definitely some levels to just keep in mind as shit gets crazy, but that's like an extreme scenario. That is by no means my base case. Obviously, just to even get a 15-minute circuit breaker halt, we'd have to go down 7%, and we're only halfway there now. So let's just take this in stride. Let's not get too crazy with the doomsday talk and the anticipation of what either is or isn't happening. But obviously, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to realize that the bears are fully in control right now, and it looks like they are just gaining more and more and more and more control. So the longer we stay below 4,900, the more I would anticipate the market evaluating, once again, this gigantic put position at 4,800. If you guys want to see that another way, let me show you this right here. Look at that. Look at right here, this open interest. That's 4,300. Where's 4,800? I was showing it to you better, right? Let me upload that. I'm just trying to update it because this is the open interest change from market close to now. You can see the puts are just absolutely dominating. But basically checking this out, the option chain is just dominated by puts. This is all the protection that I guess people want or they're being forced to have. In the update video yesterday, I was covering how, according to the Financial Times, according to the Financial Times, the amount of hedge fund margin calls is at a record level, rivaling what we saw in the Rona period. Hedge funds are right now being margin called at record highs. Everyone who was just caught long and wasn't agile enough to move and do what they needed to is just getting absolutely murked right now. Absolutely murked. Watch the VIX. The fact that it's holding 50 is kind of concerning. If it pushes the overnight high at 60, holy shit. Holy. Look at, dude, it's just a map of red right now. This is a fucking murder scene, folks. This is look at that. It's just blood red. MicroStrategy down 10%. You have Apple down 6%, Microsoft down 3%, Nvidia down 7%, Tesla down 7%, Palantir down 7%, Meta down 3%, Netflix down 3%. It's just, holy shit. We might as well bring up the small cap sector just to see how that's going. That's down 4%. How are the positions? Not really updating. I'm up 60, 56, and 15. And then this is a call position that I got messed up on. And this was right before the Trump announcement on Wednesday. So that one's pretty much fully gone. I don't even care about it anymore. But 60, 55, and 15, what's that? That is $130,000. My unrealized gains, 60, 55, 16. So that's about $130,000. If it keeps going, I'm getting a little bit closer to that $500,000 mark. We're getting a little bit closer to that $500,000 mark. That would be a pretty crazy goal to hit with you guys today. a pretty crazy fucking goal. Vol is just climbing right now. We see small cap getting smoked, SPY getting done, Q's getting done. Small cap try to bounce, but now getting smoked. Here is a look at the options flow thus far today. Even Ray Charles could see that the market is just getting fucking goose right now. So, Mag 7 is telling a completely different story. So the Mag 7, people are actually buying calls on the Mag 7 for this Friday. And then puts popped, and like the put delta popped and now coming back. But you could kind of see a very, very different story between the S&P 500, which is being methodically walked down, while the Mag 7, if anything, is actually being methodically walked up. So a clear differential between those two, a clear differential. So pay attention. Like I said, the longer we stay below 4,900, at least the way I view the market, at least the way I personally approach the market, in my mind, that is increasing the chances of us coming all the way down here to 4,800. And my reasoning for that is just because we see this fucking gigantic level, 121,000 shares. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen such a singularly large SPX position, especially on such a random day. We see positions 1/3 of this size on major quad witching days. This is a random fucking Monday, folks, and we're seeing something so much bigger. This is fucking insane. This is just insane. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're 8K away. And then on top of that, just for a little bit of fun, I'm also up another 60 here. I'm double dipping on the play, if you know what I mean. I took a risk, obviously, swinging over the weekend. I was uncomfortable all weekend. I was like basically addicted to my phone. I just like on my phone this entire time. I was just wondering because going into the position. So here's what happened, and everyone in the Discord knows this. Right before market close on Friday, I had $125,000 on the line betting that the market would go down. And obviously I'd be up more money if I kept it. But the reason I didn't keep it is because of there is a non-zero chance that I'm completely horrifically wrong. There's a non-zero chance that it could very much be positive news over the weekend, and before you know it, we gap up 3% and then run another 5% that day. So because of that, going into the weekend, I thought, okay, you gotta pare this back just to be a little bit more realistic. So instead of having a 125K bet that we'd be going down, I took 50K off the table and I made it a 75K bet. And then that's what I'm swinging right now that you're seeing. So with it, obviously I'd be up more money right now if I swung the whole thing, but still, don't judge the quality of the trade off the outcome. You have to judge the quality of the trade on the decisions made to get into the trade and to manage the trade. And for me, in my account and where I was at, I just kept thinking to myself, if you're completely wrong, if a deal is struck over the weekend and you lose that 125K, it'll be disastrous. It'll be like, I'd be so incredibly pissed off. I'd be have a way more of a negative emotional response that way of being wrong and losing all that money, especially because the day before, I think I lost another 60 or 80. So like in the span of like 2 to 3 trading sessions, I'd be down 200 versus now, okay, like I happen to be right, but that was obviously outside of my control. So I can't really judge it on that, the fact that I was right. But what you can say, okay, like what's a bigger driving force for you? Would you have more of a negative emotional reaction to losing something or more of a positive emotional reaction to being right? And when I think about it that way, I know that in these environments, you can make really good money with not that much leverage. So I just need to calm it down. And even though I would have made more money, obviously I would have made more money. I still, I would argue to my death that is the way to do it. I would argue to my death. Are the bid and ask prices messed up? I don't know what you're talking about, but probably not. That sounds like a brokerage specific thing. Oh, like I said, all right, we're kind of dancing around a little bit. If there's another waterfall, maybe 4,850, maybe puke all the way down to 4,800. You got to pay attention to any news at any point. We could just be getting some wild updates. So you got to be prepped up for that. Let me move this over here. We don't need this. I believe as of right now, we are officially in a bear market. Yes, Congrats, team. We lost the game of capitalism. We are, as of right now, in real time, we're living it together. We are in a bear market. The last time we got to experience bear market, I don't know, together was circa early March of 2020. It's been years, folks. It has been actual years since we've been in this type of an environment together, wondering what in the fuck is going on. But as of right now, in real time, fucking, I don't know, start heating up the shower and get ready to start crying, because we are in a bear market right now, real time, together. We're doing the whole thing. We're doing the whole thing, and we're doing it in real time. We're doing the whole thing, and we're doing it. Vol is picking up. Pay attention to Vol. If this takes out 60, which would probably happen if we break and crater below 4,800, get ready for that. Oh, he did it. He did it. The numbers are larger than they were, and now it's at a level that is psychologically rewarding. Year to date, I'm up 458% on my account, gaining a nice $415,000. This is obviously the best start to a trading year I've ever had. Fuck, man. You know, it kind of fucks me up. It really does. I mean, to make that kind of money, to make, I don't know, what I used to make in almost a decade's worth of work, and I'm making it right now in an environment where other people are just getting blown the fuck out. Like, it really does fuck with you. Like, it really, really, really does fuck with you. To be doing not well, but what I would like, for me at least, I don't know how you guys are, but for me, this is like this isn't good. This is like stupidly retarded good, like absurd, like not. If you told me January 1st, that fast forward to April, you'd be up like this, like I'd be like, you're so full of shit. Like, this is so far outside my own bound of expectations. And to understand that that is currently playing out when people are like legitimately panicking right now, it's a weird thing to like emotionally just like, I guess, deal with, because making $110,000 in a day while other people are like now at the point where like, fuck, man, like I know like government services are getting cut. It's just, it's crazy. It's unsettling. It really, really is. And like, I suppose that's why I put such an effort. Like, I could easily do this and trade by myself, and I'd be up this money, and I'd be like a hermit sitting in here. And I think in my mind, and maybe this makes sense, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. I've really never like tried to articulate it this way, but I feel like the way I offset it mentally is you have net worth, but then you also have self-worth. And I think self-worth is probably the thing that I value the most from doing social media with all of you guys. It's just to share the little bit that I know and like connect and create a community. But it's to drive value that is more than just like, I don't know, how much you are personally worth. Like, yes, there is this value of net worth, and are the dollars in your bank account going up? And that's cool. And I hope everyone that. But in environments like this, like I think it really does fuck with my head so much to be doing well when other people, like, they're doing the opposite of well right now. And the only thing that I've found that, like, I guess helps me like balance it out and just like kind of keep me mentally on the tracks is trying to do other things such as this, like to teach what I know, to show what I know, to try to explain things in more of a digestible way, to try to keep people calm, whether they're long-term investors or traders, and just, I don't know, share my personal experiences. I feel like those are the things that drive in this conversation what I'm referring to as self-worth. And I think that's kind of like, I don't know, maybe another term for it would be like karma, of like, okay, like it's one thing for you to succeed, but then it's a different thing of like, are you helping other people succeed? And maybe that's a weird justification for me of like getting it, but I don't know. It's what helps me like sleep at night, I guess. How are the bids higher than the ask on SPY? They aren't. You probably just have, I mean, are you on a retail brokerage or like where are you at? That's impossible. You can't have bids higher than the ask. It sounds like you're just not on that good of a brokerage, or is your data connect? Like, do you have poor internet connection right now? Obviously, from a conceptual level, that is not possible. I've been watching since March of 2021 and have learned a lot from your streams. Thanks for the knowledge, dude. That's what we do it for. Getting a little bit of a pop now. Nothing like a $5 pop in about 5 minutes. Where are we at here? We pulled a pretty hard turnaround at 4835. It looks like we are very quickly trying to retest this key level of 4,900. What in the world is going to go on? What in the world do we have here? Is this the dip that everyone's coming in at, or is this a little fake out and we're about to get smashed? I see vol is sitting high. The fact that vol is sitting this high well, first of all, for many, many reasons, I would not be trying to chase this to the upside for a gazillion different reasons. But mathematically, the fact that vol is sitting higher than we were when we were first at this level, just be very, very careful. I mean, the VIX is sitting above 50, folks. This is like a legit historic level. It's not the highest level of volatility that we've ever had, but this is going to be like, you know, all those things on Twitter where people like refer to the previous events and like, look how crazy this time was. Look how crazy this time. This is going to be one of those times. Folks, you're, as I showed you earlier, you at one point, I don't know if we are exactly right now, but we were in a bear market. Like this, we're in a bear market. Vol is spiking. Like you were literally living through a historic event. This bounce is actually considerable. Is there something being announced that I missed? The UK's PM Starmer, we will work with key partners to reduce barriers to trade across the globe. The UK government will not just sit back and hope. The EU's trade chief, we have offered the US 0 for 0 tariffs for cars and all industrial goods. So this bounce, about 6 minutes ago. So we're getting some seemingly positive updates from the EU right now. That's what this bounce has to do with. Obviously, we're still very much in the red, but we're seeing a little bit of positivity from a little bit. We will strike the best deal. We will work with key partners to reduce. Okay. We will rewire the state completely. The UK government will not just sit back and hope. In response to the steel and aluminum tariffs, after carefully reviewing options, we will send the final list and tariff levels to member states today. So we're getting this bounce. Initially, the market is just reacting to seemingly some positive news out of the EU and some representation there. It's all priced in, Matt? You think this is all priced in? Clearly not. If you thought it was all priced in, we wouldn't be moving so violently. The fact that we are at a VIX of in excess of 50, we're moving in dollars within seconds, clearly tells you it's not all priced in. All priced in. Come on, dude. Come on. I think anyone paying attention can understand that we are not in an all priced in environment. All right, we are back up to this key level. If we hold above it, maybe we have a shot all the way up here to 5,000. But on the flip side, if all of a sudden the market starts to not care about this, right, you could see around 945, 944 is when this news started to come out. And that's exactly when we started to rip 60 points. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. Oh, I haven't showed you guys yet. I haven't traded on my Apex account yet today. I did do a trade on the take profit. I just did one little scalp trade just to get in and get out to count for a trading day. So it was literally a scratch trade. But right here's all my Apex accounts. I'm just waiting for an opportunity. I was ideally hoping, I'm a little afraid to trade because look at this pump. You're going from 16,700 to 17,000. You're pumping 300 points. Like it's nothing. So because of this, I just want to be ideally letting things calm down a little bit and being very, very patient for what ideally is a good entry. But I think I'm going to need to require a little bit of lady luck on my side today. Here's a quick look at options. Let's just look at the options flow. The Mag 7 has been showing strength all day. It popped all the way up until about 935, took a bit of a dip, and then once again, right when the EU, trade chief or whatever the fuck their name is, right at 944, you can see the options market started to get bullish on the Mag 7, and that perfectly aligned with these announcements. We actually have more. Our U.S. partners know we are willing to engage. The collection of duties will start on April 15th, the second part on May 15th. 15th. The BOE sells 750 million of bonds in auction, receives 1.2 billion bids. All right. So yeah, it's the UK's PM Starmer, and then also the EU trade chief. Those are the comments that we're getting right now that are getting things to pop a little bit. Holy shit. What the fuck was this? Okay, so even though the Mag 7's going up right now, I want to be clear, no one. What the fuck is it? This is the craziest options flow I have ever seen. I have ever seen. So basically, you had systematic delta drop, systematic call delta, and put delta drop. That stopped at 9:46, a minute or two after these comments. And since then, just flat. Even though the Mag 7 is showing signs of bullishness, the put delta is going up and the call delta is really going up. The S&P 500 is not budging. Like, we are actually, even though we're now at a new intraday high on the S&P 500, the delta is still at the intraday low. Folks, if you are chasing this to the upside, you are really playing with fire. I beg of you, please be careful. I beg of you, please be careful. I told you it's all priced in, all according to a plan. No, it's not. Shut up, dude. That's the dumbest fucking comment, that it's all priced in. We're literally living in one of the most, like, the current market environment is at not the record, but it's approaching a record level of volatility and uncertainty. You are at the polar opposite of what you're trying to say, that like, oh, it's not fucking priced in, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I beg of you to not be trading on such a like rudimentary surface level opinion of what the hell is happening. Jesus Christ. Like, we're at a VIX of 50 and you're like, that's the plan. That's priced in. Like, what just a fucking silly comment. Wow. Look at that. Right at 944, 945, clear change of trend. And the options market is not buying it. The options market got aggressively bearish starting at 932. We just saw the call delta drop, the put delta drop, and it vomited right till about those announcements. And since then, it's been going flat. And this is in complete opposition to what we're seeing in the Mag 7, which is fascinating because the things that make up the Mag 7 also make up the lion's share of the S&P 500, which is why I like to check these two. But right now, what we're seeing is a huge differential because on the Mag 7, you're seeing the calls rip and the puts rip. The delta on both the call side right here, the orange and the green, is just ripping, and then puts, that delta is being pushed up. So the Mag 7, just on the intraday basis, obviously I understand not on the daily, the options is actually very, very bullish right now, which is completely different than what we're seeing on the SPY. But remember, the things that make up the SPY, like by weight, are mostly represented by the Mag 7. The Mag 7 here, you're pushing almost 30% of the influence on the S&P 500. So the fact that they're telling two massively different stories tells you that, surprise, surprise, whatever this comment is that not everything's priced in. In fact, there's a lot of craziness right now. But yeah, we're seeing the Mag 7. Let's actually check some of those out. So MicroStrategy, vomit, pop. Apple was flat, trying to pick up. Microsoft, vomit, and now popping. NVIDIA, flat, and now really popping. It's going from 87 to 92. Tesla, same thing, drop and pop. Palantir, trying to pop here. Meta, trying to get going. Netflix is actually almost back to being green on the day. It's only 0.5% away. Netflix flat and a nice pop from 823 all the way up to 850. You have Broadcom, same thing, drop and pop. Rum popping right now. Coin, drop and pop. ASML, huge pop. So you're getting semiconductors really popping at this moment. You're really seeing a large pop in semiconductors. So maybe check out something like SMH, which is the ETF for your NVIDIA, Broadcom, ASML, Micron, Intel, Qualcomm. This right here, this ETF, SMH, represents pretty much the entire semiconductor space. Dude, ASML just went green on the day. It's officially green. I think that's the first green thing I've seen besides vol, which is currently getting goosed. So We have now officially in, how long did that take? Not even 15 minutes. Not even 15 minutes. We have bounced 2.5%. That is ridiculous. We are just moving like no other, just ripping it. So basically we had a 1.6% sell-off, quickly followed by a 2.5% rip, and that's all happened within 30 minutes of trading. That is just insane. Insane. Just the way that we were trending so hard this way. Remember, just because we're trending one way doesn't mean it can't have a gnarly reversal the other direction. So clearly out of the gate, a gnarly push to the downside. And since then, an even crazier pump to the upside. Can it keep going? Of course it can. And then also, just as fairly, this could plummet and we could see a fresh low. So don't get caught into like recency bias and anchoring on like what you just saw and be like, well, it was bearish, I need to be bearish. Well, it is bullish, I need to chase it bullish. This thing, we're just changing on a dime. We're just getting the most absurd looking charts, not only in the actual price action, but we're also directly seeing that in the options movement as well. I mean, look at this. We're seeing calls rip. We're seeing puts, the delta on both is just going up. And then the S&P 500 is just not moving. It's literally hanging out at its most bearish delta reading of the day. It's not budging whatsoever, which is just uncanny when you rip 150 points. Schwab screws me. Tried selling FMA and FMCC limit orders at last close price, but drops 50 at open, up 650% from 17 years ago. It's probably because you use the wrong order. If you use a stop limit and it skips that price, you're not going to get your fill. You have to use, like, if tried selling FMA and at last, yeah, that they didn't screw you. That's because you didn't put in the right order type. Limit orders. There's a chance, like in these environments, there's a chance that there just wasn't liquidity at that price. And if you don't have a like counterparty at that price that you're trying to get, you're not going to get a fill. You're not going to get a fill. So that I think is more so representative of like just what's going on right now. But the broker doesn't decide where there is and where there isn't liquidity. So like, remember, if you're just trying to get out and get out fast, that's what a market order would be for. I don't necessarily recommend market orders for NVIDIA might be going green right here. I don't necessarily recommend market orders for getting into positions. But for getting out, especially on the stop side, the protective side, where you're like, you know what, if it hits this, I just need to get out. I think stop market's going to be your best, because if you use a stop limit, there's a chance it skips over your price and keeps going against you, and then you never get a fill. So if you're talking about stop orders, like your protective orders for your risk, it's probably safer. It's not probably. It is safer to use a stop market instead of a stop limit. Europe can smoke a turd. Well, we are getting an incredible recovery right now. This is insane. And we are coming up to this 5,000. This is going to be the big battle. And remember, early this stream, I was showing you this level, 5,000. Okay, we had this giant level at 4,800. But let me zoom in here to show you a little bit closer. Right here. This is a bullish setup. These are sold puts, as in they want it above it, and these are long calls, as in they want it above it. So that's 14,000, and then this is 14,000. So that's together almost a 30,000 contract position that is ideally bullish above 5,000. Now, be careful here, though, because as you can see, this is pretty much the only positive gamma node I'm seeing on the map. So a lot of negative gamma. Remember, negative gamma means slippery price action, as in when you get going one way, you really get going, which is exactly what we've been seeing. When you get going, you really get going. But then positive gamma, which is this little node right here, that is going to be more sticky. Like when you get there, it's kind of tough. Like if you go up, the market makers sell. If you go down, the market makers buy. So think of it as more of like a magnet. And then these the other zones are more so like accelerators. So we're running right up to this, and that might serve as resistance. Obviously, 5,000, it's a key psychological level. So people playing the rebound might take their profits there. And then also, like from just a pure math standpoint, you do have to start. Let me zoom in just so you guys can see it a bit more. You have to start considering the delta and gamma impact of what we have going on with these long calls and with these short puts. So, dude, we are moving. Jesus Christ. We went from 4,835 to 4,990. We went up 160 points. And after going up 160 points, we've now already fallen 40 points. And on top of that, we have this insanity that you have to consider. But what I find absurd is this. Like, this is one of the most insane charts I have ever seen for options flow. If this is one of your first times on the show, hey, congrats. You're joining in one of the most insane days ever. But we just saw this giant vomit in options. And ever since this recovery, option players have not cared whatsoever. But then they did care on the Mag 7, which right now we're starting to turn, and the Mag 7's getting sold. So these are pretty much moving in lockstep right now. I would be very, very, very hesitant of chasing this to the upside. It's just, I mean, honestly, I'm hesitant about anything right now just because we are moving with such high velocity, such like a high octane type of environment. Jesus. Okay. Interesting question for all of you guys. And I know we shouldn't be predicting, but hey, while we're just here waiting for things to play out, I do have a question for all of you. Do you think at some point today that the intraday lows will be taken out? The lows were established at 944. On SPY, that is 481.80, and on the Qs, that's 402.39. So my question to you is, do you think that this is the official low of the day and it's not going to be breached? Or do you think that, yes, in fact, we're going to be coming all the way back down there and we're going to be making fresh lows? So basically, will we breach this, or do you think the lows are put in and these are the official lows? Because obviously we had a dump and then we had a far larger pump. Like, this is a massive, massive, massive pump. I'm just kind of curious where you guys are at. I'm trying to get an idea of the sentiment for everyone here. Absolutely. We coming down 50-50. Gap fail first. This is a bull trap. Not broken. Face ripper to the upside. Well, we've kind of already had a face ripper to the downside and an even more extreme face ripper to the upside. Like, those have both already kind of occurred today. And we're only 35 minutes into the trading day. Like, what you guys are seeing right now, like, this is actually fucking insane. Netflix is green. Broadcom is green. ASML is green. We're actually seeing some green across the board right now. Interesting. Nvidia is not far away at all from being green. It has 60 cents to go. I'm just kind of curious. We are about 30 minutes in, so we have the 30-minute opening range already. We obviously have the established high. We have the established low. I'm curious which one it's going to break. Obviously, the SPY and the Qs are both much closer to their opening range high, the first 30 minutes, than they are the low. But in this environment, who knows what's going to break? Who knows? It seems like what's driving this action has truly nothing to do with the SPY's option flow, because that's just completely turned off. It seems like price is really just following whatever happened. Well, it was the announcements at 9:44 from the EU PM or the UK PM and then the EU trade chief. We got some news that like, hey, we're willing to work with the US. That came out at 9:44, 9:45, and that got a pretty large rip. But since then, that lasted for about a perfect 15-minute sequence. So we had 15 minutes down, 15 minutes up. And right now, everyone's kind of saying, okay, like, what's the next move going to be? Are we legit going to take out this key level? It's key psychological, open interest, technical. There's a lot of important stuff right at 5,000. Are we going to successfully take that out and get a push all the way back up to the closing value that we saw on Friday? totally possible. Or on the flip side, are we going to get rejected, take out this low at 1003 and then vomit back down to 4,900? I'm making no prediction. I'm basically just trying to ride whatever the trend is. I'm trying to pay attention at this point, more specifically to the Mag 7 options flow, because this does seem to be pretty influential in what in the world is going on. If I see another pump up here, I would think, okay, yeah, we're going to get a legit shot at breaking out of 5,000. But as of now, it does appear, at least as of this moment, that the options flow has gone a little bit flat. Like the absurd bullishness that we saw from 945 to 10, since then, there was some profit taking. It's shown a little bit of flatness. So I'm going to keep my eye on this, especially the closer we get here. But just be careful about taking out this low. 4,952, this low at 1003, because if we do take that out, we've gone from a bearish trend of lower highs and lower lows that then flipped to a bullish trend of higher highs and higher lows. So right here, this low that we just put in, or excuse me, this potential high that we just put in at 1006, if that remains right here, obviously a lower high, if we end up taking out this 952 low, that means we're back to a bearish trend, because by definition, lower highs and lower lows, that's the definition of a bearish trend. So basically, we might be setting up where we had a pretty evident bearish trend followed by a massive bullish push. But right now, we're getting to kind of this indecisive thing where, is this really a higher low and it wants to take this out and break this high? Or is it just another reversal with lower highs and lower lows? And we're going to find out, seeing how the bulls and the bears react to this 4,950 level. But there is this potential of this breakdown. So just, it's not confirmed yet. Obviously, this is confirmed and this is confirmed, but kind of watching this right here. Is this going to hold? And what in the world is going on with that? Kind of watching this. Do we break to the upside? Obviously, we're going to be pairing that with looking at the SPY's just doing nothing. Definitely watching the Mag 7 here, where you could see after that blow off top at 10, literally the bot program got turned off at 10 a.m. Ever since then, options have kind of returned to a little bit of normalcy. The 5 minute and the 10 minute are bullish. They're above the EMA cloud on the S&P 500. 30 minute and 4 hour are bearish. Same thing on the NASDAQ. 5 minute and 10 minute are bullish. Even the 30 minute is testing right now. That's interesting. The 30 minute is testing right now. Might be worthwhile to watch this swing low, because that might be a failure on this push out. 4 hours obviously still bearish. We don't really need this right now. Let's go to this. All right, we're just kind of watching this channel. Bearish to start, then it got very, very bullish. And right now we're all kind of awkwardly awaiting to see what the next trend is. And honestly, this is kind of the environment that I was waiting for things to calm down a little bit, just for me to do my active trades. Obviously, I already showed you my swing trades, which are up nicely. I'm still in them. I have not touched them. But to do my active futures trades, I was very much hoping vol would calm down a little bit, just so, like, even if I'm on the right side, I don't want to randomly just get like whipped out of a position, which is why I need to be paying attention. All right, I'm kind of watching this structure. A little bit of a bullish pennant, but who knows which way it's actually going to break. So I want that up. Just kind of the first thing that catches my mind. But see how we giant pump, giant dump, then we put in a lower high, but we've now since put in higher lows. So which way is this going to break? Which way is this going to break? Looks like it's trying to break to the upside. How is the Mag 7? How is the Mag 7? Mag 7 is... Well, that would have been a real... I was a little slow to bring up my options flow. Jesus. All right, is something getting announced? Something's going on. Despite EU efforts, we have not seen engagement which would lead to mutually acceptable solution. VAT is an important source of income for EU member states that will not change our VAT system. We are ready to discuss with the US, but solutions need to be a mutual advantage. That stuff does not sound positive. I must be missing some other piece of news, because this is fucking crazy. What we're seeing right now, something had to just be announced. What is going on? What I just read is negative news. There must be news that hasn't hit the wire that people are already trading on, because we just fucking exploded. I'm missing something. There has to be a piece of breaking news. This wouldn't just happen randomly. We're missing it. What is the news? Nvidia's popping. EU says it's ready to discuss 0 for 0 tariffs. We already knew that. That's 40 minutes ago. There has to be something else going on right now. We just literally went green on the SPY. What the fuck? What is happening right now? Just like that, upside gap fill. This is crazy. This is crazy, folks. What a fucking move. Right up to this next level, 5,100. What is today, dude? Oh, wow. Wow. Is SPY halted? No, it's up 0.3%. That is insane. What is going on? And vol is still holding at 48 on that pump. Dude, we're up $20 in the SPY. 481 to 510 on an intraday session. We are up $20. Wow. Holy shit. Well, that player at 5,000, they're pretty stoked. Dude, it doesn't even work on this chart anymore. It's literally off the chart. That move just broke this chart. It needs a little bit of time to repaint, but it literally snapped. It's outside the bounds of the chart. What the fuck is going on right now? That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Vol's getting hit. Jesus. This is ridiculous. Nvidia's pumping. Vol's getting crushed. Wow. What are we at? Dude, we just pumped 7% from 9:45 to 10:15. The overall U.S. stock market, not an individual stock, the overall U.S. stock market pumped 7%. 7% in 30 minutes. Trump considering 90-day tariff pause except for China. Is that what's being reported? Businesses and lawyers plan a legal challenge to Trump tariffs. A tariff legal challenge would be filed as soon as Friday. Hassett, 1 minute ago, Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. That's what pumped the news. So I guess he must be doing... unfortunately, like people start trading it, bots start trading it way faster than we could even find the news. But this came out right around 10:10, obviously. But once again, Hassett, which is I think the National Economic Council dude, Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. Is he live somewhere right now? That's crazy. That's fucking nuts right now. Oh, what was I doing? Sorry, I was trying to figure this news out. Oh, Jesus. The fuck is going on? Dude, I can't even get out of my positions. My order failed. My order failed to connect. Cancel. Dude, I'm trying to mark it out. Dude, what the fuck? This shows you how fucking crazy things are right now. I'm having a tough time marketing out of my positions. That is disgusting. What a time. What a fucking time. Jesus. What a time. What a time. Jesus. Can I cancel this? I'm having the worst time getting out right now. This, I guess, data's lagging or something's fucking going on. I'm just trying to get the hell out until I can figure out what this news is. Trying to get the fuck out. Trying to figure it all out. Wow. Wow. Okay. I cannot believe what is going on right now. Vol's getting crushed. The Qs took out the high from Friday. What in the world is this insanity right now? What in the world is going on? Look at all the green. Seconds ago, minutes ago, we were looking at it and we're all like, hey, that's actually pretty fucking crazy. What's happening here? And now we're seeing so much green across the board. Oh, man. Well, we knew we were in some high vol environments, that's for sure. VIX is just plummeting. Just plummeting. Pure insanity. Pure insanity. VIX is just getting crushed. We might be seeing a Vanna-esque rally. A Vanna-esque rally. Let's go back to here. What do we have on the map? So you wonder if someone knew. Because at 9:45, we saw aggressive buying to 10, and then the announcement came at 10:10. But look at this. Someone like with huge size, like in aggregate from 9:45 to 10 was absurdly bullish. Absurdly bullish. And then at 10:10, we get this announcement. Like, that's timely. That's timely that people were buying aggressively. 10 minutes later, we got this announcement. That is interesting to say the least. Maybe those are just the luckiest traders in the world. Maybe. Or, and hear me out on this, maybe they knew. VIX. Jesus. Even everything's so slow right now. Just like all this, the amount of, I bet we're breaking record levels of trade volume today in options and in equities. I bet like why part of this data is so slow and like orders are taking a bit. I bet these systems across the entire like market structure are just like seeing truly unprecedented numbers. I bet that's what's happening. Oh, wow. And now we're coming right back down. Jesus, this is so crazy. This is so crazy. Do you think they're going to run this all the way back down now? So to clarify, if you're just joining in now, around 10:10, we found out that it was being reported from Hassett, who's a part of the administration. Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China. And now the SPY is officially in the green by 1%. The Qs are in the green by 1.8%. Bitcoin's in the green. And we were deeply red. Wow. I just cannot. This is just a crazy, crazy environment. Where are we at on the daily? All right, so there is an upside gap fill to 5,400. There's also an upside 5,390. There's also an upside gap fill to 5,571. If we get going again, like if we take out this high, which we are pulling back by almost 100 points, but if we get going again, 5,390 right here, that would be an interesting target, upside gap fill. Jesus. We're seeing quite the pullback right now. Quite the pullback. All right, the SPY's back at that red-green move. It doesn't want to stay in this zone. Jeez. Here, I'm going to drop it to the 3-minute. And the data is just going so slow. What a pump. Just little things like that getting leaked out to the public has literally a multi-trillion-dollar impact. Yeah, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute trying to be in the green, but we have to wait for 7 minutes officially for this bar to close. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute. That's actually fucking insane. Truly, truly insane. Back in the red now. I wonder if the market's going to hold this here. I see vol picking back up. Which way are they taking it? No way do they fade this all the way back down. I don't know. I have no unique prediction here. This is just so fucking insane. At 1 second, we're breaking. The Qs took out the high from Friday. It looks like we're going to go and get those upside gap fills. You wait 5 minutes, and before you know it, the entire enthusiasm of that move is 100. Like, it's just getting completely faded. The SPY's been bearish this entire time. The Mag 7 is now holding flat. Like, this is chaos, dude. This is absolute chaos. Dude, are they really going to... No. You think they're going to run this all the way back down? That would be actually ridiculous. We are on a roller coaster today, folks. So we exploded above 5,000. It's now coming back down. What the fuck? This market is so unpredictable. I mean, we're beyond that. This is just high volatility rips that are just so incredibly unforgiving. I still haven't done any of those future trades just because I don't even know at what environment can I possibly get in that's like quote unquote low risk. It just feels it feels like it's exclusively a high risk situation. Feels like it's exclusively high risk. SPY's still doing nothing. The Qs. Maybe it tries to bounce right here. I don't know. This could be interesting. The low and the close on the SPY and the Qs are effectively the same thing. We're slightly below it. Like, we obviously overshot it. We came back. I'm curious what this is going to be right here. I'm curious. The Qs are trying to hold green. Trump considering should not have this effect. It does, and it's sick. Why should it not? Remember, the market is a a future-looking mechanism. So they're saying, oh, okay, there's now a probability, a higher probability than there was before that we don't have this tariff situation. So they're going to bet on that. And then if the news updates, they're going to bet on that. So why are you saying it should not? I mean, what kind of, is that like in the rule of the stock market handbook that I just never read? All right, that was imagine if I actually took that too. What a disgusting trade that would have been. Dude, I don't even know. That was a huge move. Kind of watching this, but these risk points are just so far away. I have 7K worth of buffer. Dude, I wonder if today is a day where, like, if you get in and you see a little bit of green, just like fucking take it and move on with your life. Like, just on the insanity. CNBC, no one at the White House is aware of a 90-day pause. Jesus, what the fuck is going on today? So that was, you guys are reporting this from CNBC. So Trump advisors feud with each other over tariffs. Dow turns positive, S&P 500 rises in massive reversal from steep losses. What the fuck?
He turns the supply chain upside down, and really the one I think that got perhaps the most attention, economic Armageddon. You're not feeling too good about anything, are you?
Yeah, look, I mean, and we've talked for decades. I mean, I'm one to always look through near-term issues, structural, dot-com bubble, financial crisis, COVID date. The difference here is that for U.S. tech, it would be the ultimate, what I view as an Armageddon relative to the supply chain, and really take the core thesis that we believe U.S. tech is ahead of China, and that would really throw that out the window. And that's why we've written about it so much, because there's someone that spends so much time in Asia, so much time in fabs, in China, seeing how these things are actually produced. The reality of bringing it to the U.S., it's just, I view it as
Explain what's behind your belief, though, in terms of where is the cost then? I mean, we've been talking about a potential slowdown given CapEx numbers, which are already incredible.
Order submitted.
Would have to go even higher. But explain to me what is the Armageddon based on?
Yeah, a lot of it is based on the supply chain is cemented in Asia. For example, if Apple brought it to the U.S., it would take $30 billion just to take 10% of that supply chain. And I believe iPhones, if they were built in the U.S., would be $3,000. If you look at the way the structure is of the supply chain between Taiwan and China, the concept that you can actually make fabs, we have the labor force, the manufacturing takes 4 to 5 years to build a plant. That's why it's Armageddon. And the reality is that
VIX is going right back up to 50.
Starts going downhill, data center demand, uncertainty. You've already created not just a recession, but it goes back to my whole career. For the first time, U.S. is ahead of China in tech. This would wipe that out, and China ultimately would zoom ahead. And that's why we've talked about it so dramatically.
Did you see the Dave Chappelle clip that was going around over the weekend? I mean, I feel like that actually really nailed it. It's like, we want to buy iPhones. We don't want to make iPhones in this country. And I do feel that there's a lot of folks around who are looking at the U.S. model. We're the envy of the world, right? Why do we want to become more like them?
And my thing is, it's a sad day for U.S. tech. And, talking to so many within the supply chain, whether it's Asian, U.S. tech companies, what they could say publicly or not, private companies, the reality is that the reason it's an Armageddon is that this would really wipe out, in my opinion, the modern U.S. tech world relative to the way that we produce chips, the way that we produce hardware, how data centers are built, and the concept that we're actually going to build this in New Jersey, in West Virginia. It could sound in front of a microphone. It's just not reality, and that's why I felt very compelled to speak out. And from a stock perspective, it's trying to figure out what the worst case, what could this mean for Apple? We didn't downgrade any of our stocks.
Why
in terms
not?
Of rate.
Why didn't you
Vol's
downgrade?
picking back up.
It's a great question. The reason is because if I believe this is permanent, then it's game, set, match. But if I believe that this is in some way temporary for a few months or some negotiated, we got to be able to look on the other side.
Coming back to the big question that everybody has and that we were having conversations with all the decision makers or many about this weekend, I'm sure you were having some of the same. Is it a negotiation or is it permanent?
Well,
is it designed to raise revenue simply and that's really what it's about, or is it really designed to lower barriers?
All right, they're not talking about anything that I specifically care about right now. CNBC, no one at the White House is aware of a 90-day pause, so that's exactly why that whole pump just got faded. So we pumped because of this apparent news that, according to Hassett, Trump is considering a 90-day pause. And then CNBC says no one at the White House is aware of that. So that's why we pumped and then gave it back. I thought we were going to fade enough. Fuck. This is my proper risk point. I was really hoping to not have to use this. I was trying to use the recent swing high. I was hoping that I didn't have to. Fuck me. I thought with the CNBC update saying, no, it's not real, that we were just going to go right back to where we were, hence why I took this short position. Fuck, but I'm on the wrong side of this. I'm playing with fire today. I'm playing with fire, playing a game I shouldn't be playing right now. I wonder if I should just cut this and be like, you know what, this is not the day, and let things calm down. Honestly, my profit target wasn't even that far. We got real close too. Come on, can I get lucky? Come back down below the trend line. Come back down. If only I entered it a little bit earlier. Had I entered it right on the breakdown, let's even call it 50. Oh, it would have been more than hit my profit target. I was just a slight delay. And that's just how quick things are moving right now. Shit. These accounts. I don't know, man. I'm not feeling good about this whatsoever. Just this volatility. It's going to come for me. Holy fuck. No. Oh my God. No. Am I going to get this lucky? Dude, or should I just get out now? Save myself a couple grand? Which way is this going? Am I just be given a gift right now? I'm really, really just tempted to close this here, save myself. The accounts are getting hit. Holy fuck, dude. My stomach. This is not. This game is not for the faint of heart today. This game is not for the faint of heart today, team. Holy shit. This is crazy. It's almost back to break even. No, back to break even? That's just fucking insane, dude. Insane the movements we are getting. What? If this hits, I quit. Dude, this is just the craziness of the market right now. Just my luck that it stalls out and dances around between my red-green move. Why couldn't have I had this, Phil, where if it's dancing around, at least it's dancing around in me being green. Come on. Come on. Come on. Just a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Do it. do it. No. Ah!
Order canceled.
40K locked in, 2K, 20 accounts, 40K locked in, just barely escaped getting stopped out for blowing out the accounts. That would have been all 7K gone, and instead made 2K per account. Each one was at 57. They're now at 59. Dude, I was ticks away. It got as high as 95. Mine was at 700. No fucking way. And then it bounces there. That is insane. Dude, when you have that stroke of luck, you know what you do? You shut it the fuck down, because staying past that, you're playing with fire. I'm canceling I'm just cleaning. I'm shutting this down. No way. Cancel all orders. All orders canceled. I'm just making sure everything is properly going to shut down, because I don't need any lingering orders or anything like that, dude. When you get a lucky break like that, you say thank you. You don't ask questions. You move on with your life. All right, let me disconnect. All right, let me reconnect just to make sure there's no rogue orders. I'm done, dude. I am done. Come on, connect. Let's go. Connect. That was priced in. That was actually fun. All right, I am done. I made my 40K. Holy shit. All right, we are shutting her down. Dude, when you get that lucky, you say thank you so much, and you move on with your life. Like, what? Jesus. All right, let me trade this. 17th. All right, we're doing that really quick, and then hang on, I'm looking at some plays. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. All right. Dude, getting fills in this environment is uniquely difficult. Borderline fucking impossible. All right, I'm trying to update some shit here. But I'm at this point just chasing, trying to get some sort of fill. Oh yeah, I have no idea what's going on right now. Dude, this data situation is nuts. I'm going to try it on maybe a different browser. I'm having a tough time getting orders in. A uniquely tough time. Can I try it on this? I'm basically just trying it anywhere. I guess I am risking getting absolute trash fills, though. Oh, is anything getting filled for anyone is maybe a better question. All right, one of them got filled. Why is that working better on this computer? than on this computer. I don't know. I'm trying the old double computer situation. All right, let's just nix that. What else can we do? Today is what? The 7th. Okay, one thing I could do. Yeah, I guess I'm having better luck on this computer for some reason getting some of these. For whatever reason that would be. I don't know. Feels like it's above my pay grade of why this one's working better than my other one. All right, very quickly, let's just check this. The Mag 7, okay, the SPY's at a new delta low. The Mag 7 popped and it's now flat. I think everyone's in a little bit of shock of like, what the fuck is going on? The VIX is at 50 here. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is just 5-minute pumped, came all the way back to the EMA cloud. 10-minute pumped all the way back to the EMA cloud. 30-minute try to break out, but look, it's right under it. 4-hour obviously pumped, but still bearish. 5-minute, same thing. It pumped right on top of the cloud. 10-minute pumped right on top of the cloud. 30-minute, technically it is as of now up here, but we almost faded that entire 30-minute just absurd news where we're getting a lot of whipsaw between what people are saying. A rumored pump and then obviously now a rumored dump. What the fuck? I'm surprised by it. Look at Vol. Vol went from 54 down to 38 all the way back up. This is not the most forgiving environment. A little bit of a misstep, a little bit of unluckiness, and before you know it, you're just getting torched. Before you know it. Here, going to the 5-minute on all this. Things are stabilizing right at the level that we saw right before the announcement. So basically, the announcement pop was just completely faded. And like, we're just now right exactly where we were. Which it kind of makes sense. So the market got all excited that was a thing and then said, nope. So basically it was reported by some outlets that Hassett said 90-day consideration for all except for China. And then a little bit after that, basically we got that 10-minute pump. 10 minutes after that, CNBC said no one at the White House has like even knows about that. And then we got faded right to where we were before it. So we're kind of just like almost like restarting the game on the day. This was the pump right here at 1010, and now we're just back up to that key 5,000 level. So we pumped up, we gave it all back, found support at 5,000, got rejected at the close, the red. We dropped again. We dropped exactly to the point that we were before. Maybe it'll be better if I just like kind of mark this out. Yeah. Huge explosion. Positive news that then was reported to be bullshit. And then we just came down here. We're getting a little bit of a pump now. I would basically say in the shortest of terms, the bulls have a chance if we hang out above this. If we go below it, the bears are back into control on all time frames. In the medium time frame, obviously the bears are in control. Talking about like swing plays or something like that, just look at the daily chart. But even on the 0 DT, if this starts to get faded, I would say the bears are in control on literally every single time frame. So watch, I don't know, this kind of chunk between 10 and 1010, that breakout, that breakdown. Fucking crazy. What a just like insane. What's Bitcoin at? Bitcoin's at 78. 78. Okay. All right. I cannot get over how lucky I just got with those futures trades. It was points away. Like it was so close to blowing out. Oh, dude, imagine if I had set my stop like right there. It got knocked out. Like, imagine if I set it slightly lower and then we all just watched it completely puke to the level that I needed it. I would rage quit. I would 100% rage quit this entire stream. I would rage quit for sure, dude. I'd be so fucking pissed if it did all. We're doing some brief daily maintenance. Alerts will be back really soon. Thank you. Seriously, TradingView turned off their alert system for right now. Why is gold and silver taking? Everything tanks in the initial onset of panic. It's not like gold. The only thing that goes up when there's panic is VIX. It's just vol. Everything else goes down. And then it's a question of like, okay, what was the structure before? What was the structure after? But for any of the active traders in moments like this, you like everything falls at first because money is just scared and it wants to go on the sidelines. Like, dude, like what's happening? And then it's a question of like what does or doesn't recover after, and how is the positioning before and after, and blah blah blah. You get the point. All right. All right, we're gonna try to whip that, dude. What the fuck, dude? This is just crazy. All right, I'm kind of watching this zone right here that I have because this is, we ripped up to it, then we were dancing around, and then the news popped, and then we came all the way back down into it. It found support at the exact same level. So I kind of care about this. Obviously, if we hang up above this, interesting level would be Friday's trading session low, close, and 5,100 key open interest level. And then obviously, if we don't hold 5,000, I'm watching the bottom of this zone. And if 4,950 doesn't hold, then I'd be watching 4,900. So basically, that would be my bull case for very short term. We're talking about like day trading, like happening for today. And then this would be my bear case. My bull case for like a swing trade would be more of like, are we getting news from the administration that is confirmed by the administration of any positive developments for the trade war, the tariff war, that type of shit. But fuck this. That cost me a lot of money. This fake out pump, it cost me a lot of money, that fake out pump. So, I mean, obviously this is a very high volatility, high octane type of an event. Remember, if this is like not your cup of tea, you don't need to be trading in this. It is very okay to just sit on your hands and wait for this stuff to play out. You do not. Oh, crap! I just unplugged my own headphones. You don't need to be doing this at all. Please don't feel pressure. If anything, sometimes it's better just to like kind of sit and be like, yo, I'm gonna wait and see how this like this chills. This chills out. Yeah. Large dump, big pump, followed by an even bigger, insane pump, then followed by a dump, and now we're kind of indecisive ever since 1025. Like a little drift up, a little drift down, but kind of just like right stuck at 499, which happens to be pretty much 5,000 on SPX. We're just kind of pinned to this level as of now. So a little moment of calmness with all this insanity. What the fuck? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Caroline Levitt says the 90-day pause is fake news. Yeah, that's exactly why we got faded right down to the level we were at when that was first reported. Dude, it's kind of bullshit that they can say things like that literally have such a massive impact on the market just for then to be like, actually, that guy is full of shit. Like the Hassett dude, who's the first one that said it, and then the White House was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how do they not have prepared speaking points of like, this is what you're allowed to say, this is what you're not allowed to say? Obviously, it causes chaos in the market. It caused a lot of chaos. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who made money on that. I'm sure there's a lot of people who lost money on that. That cost me money. For sure, that cost me money. I was hitting my risk levels. I said, okay, got to bail on those puts. But we would have never even gotten there if like that fake piece of news wasn't said by Hassett. Like, what the fuck? Who do you know reported that? Hassett said it. Like one of his economic council members, like a dude, like apparently not part of the White House because he said the White House doesn't know about it, but Hassett is like the National Economic Council dude. He said it. He's like, yeah, no, they're considering that. And then the White House said, nope, not at all. It wasn't that someone reported, like it came out of like the dude's mouth. We're getting a little bit of a drift up now. This is actually crazy. I got so fucking boned on that move. 5 minute, 10 minute trying to hold bullish, 30 minute maybe going bullish, 4 hours still bearish. 5 minute, 10 minute trying to hold bullish, 30 minute is looking a bit stronger on tech. I am impressed, dude. It's really difficult to chase this to the upside when the SPY delta is at the lowest reading of the day. Like that is to be like saying, I want to be bullish in this environment where we know seemingly any positive news is being faded. And like, look at this. The option structure for the overall market, it is at the most bearish it's been all day. Is it really a smart move to be going bullish at the most bearish reading of the day? We're seeing some 0DT puts being closed out in this craziness, but calls are still being sold. Calls are being sold, and longer duration puts were being bought like no other. They were being purchased like no other. They were going like hotcakes, folks. When you see this much aggressive put purchasing, or at least the put delta dropping that much, like out of the gate to here, minus $3.4 billion, that's a really, really, really difficult thing to be bullish into. A really difficult thing. They asked him if he could do that. Hassett said he could do that, but it would be entirely up to him. Someone made up the headline on X and Trump announced the 90-day delay. CNBC picked up. Jesus Christ. So he didn't even say it. It's just how the reporter like spun it. Jesus. We live in wild times, folks. Absolutely wild times. Let's see if we can find anything about Hassett. Some guy tweeted a fake Hassett quote and it made things jump for 9 minutes. Yeah, everyone picked this up. The Hassett news. So he didn't, Citadel releasing Hassett's imaginary comment. Well played. So they're saying that Hassett didn't even say it. Hassett gave you a golden ticket exit. Thank Hassett if you took it. Well, that quote unquote fake tweet fucked me over. Right here. White House tells CNBC 90-day pause on tariff is fake news. Wow. This is just crazy. Generally, when you get conflicting statements from the White House, it's a sign of civil war. Not saying I have reporting suggesting such, but you can see how the lines could be drawn. Hassett and Bissett advocating for negotiations, hence a pause. Letnick and Navarro just the opposite. It's time to be really careful on loosely sourced stuff. Wow. Makes me want to vomit. Dude, these swings in the account, like, fuck, man. I got murked. Because I just had my stops in, and obviously on that rip, all my stops got tagged. Oh, fuck. Hey, that's me, most epic. That was so lucky. I don't know if it was the luckiest trade of my career, but it was up there as one of my luckiest trades ever. Someone said SPY's ripping again. What SPY are you looking at that you're saying it's ripping again? Are you like zoomed into the 5-second chart or something? At what environment are you like, yeah, that's ripping? We're literally not even at an intraday high, intraday low. We've had a good movement, a stalled out movement, and a good movement. And you're saying that it's ripping again? Dude, rewind till 10:10 and you could see what ripping is. Rewind to 10:10 this morning and you can actually learn what ripping is. You're obviously just talking your own position right now. You're like, dude, it's ripping, as you like degenerately got into short-term calls and you're just like praying it goes up. Like, all right, let's just chill out there, Tonto, because it doesn't. I mean, in most days I have to go like, oh, you remember that day that was ripping? This isn't ripping. This is a climb up, a pullback, a climb up, a pullback, a climb up, a pullback into a key level. That's not ripping. This is ripping, where we just absolutely pump. It was a 7% move from the intraday low here. That was a pump. This was ripping. This is like just a grind up, dude. Like, what? It's ripping, man. It's ripping right now. No, it's not. No, it's not. Literally rewind maybe in not even an hour. Someone said Trump tweeted. I don't know if you guys are giving me up-to-date news or not. White House. Okay, here we got this.
Spoke to Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, on the phone just a short time ago, and she tells me it is quote unquote fake news that the White House is considering a 90-day pause. So the White House pouring cold water on this idea, wherever it came from, that they're considering a 90-day pause on tariffs, saying the president is committed to his tariff regime, and any reports that he's considering a 90-day pause are quote fake news. That from the White House press secretary on the record just a short time ago to me on the cell phone here as we try to sort through where this came from and why it is that the market became convinced that might be a possibility. The White House saying it is not a possibility, Carl. Spoke to Caroline Leavitt.
Wow. Well, a bit irrational. The United States has the chance to do something that we should have been doing decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panikin. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. He put that on True Social. Both of these were on True Social earlier today. He's just reposting it. RIP market rally 944 to 1017. Jesus. This is just... makes you wanna vomit, folks. Makes you wanna vomit. Aw, shit. Here we go again. All right, where are we at? We're literally just perfectly at the closing value from Friday. This is the last time we saw this value was Friday at close. I'm still watching this zone. Obviously, like I said, in the very short term, the longer we hold above it, the stronger it is. We just literally perfectly ran into that level that I called out, and now we're just holding out at what was resistance turning into support. We got rejected. We got rejected there, finding support. So maybe if this holds above it, that's a big maybe. A big maybe. But if this doesn't hold, then if we fail here, if we fail at 5,100, if we fail at 5,075, like this zone right where we are, I'd be watching 5,000. And then below that, we obviously have the low at 1045 and also at 10. So this low, just... this seems to be a pretty important transitional zone right here. Obviously, we are on the top side, aka the bullish side, but looks like we are running into some serious resistance at this key open interest level of 5,100. Speaking of that, how is Trace looking right now? We are back on the map at least. And remember, 5,100, this is pretty much the only positive gamma we're seeing on the day. So could be sticky here. If it does break, I just want you to know whether to the upside or to the downside, it's negative gamma. So breaking out of this positive gamma zone, most likely price is going to get slippery, as in a push to the upside, a push to the downside, that type of an argument. So, and also please be mindful, this 4,800, that person's still in play. They are still there. So I need you guys to know that this is one of the biggest positions we've ever seen live together, way bigger than anything I can recall in recent history. 122,000 puts are sold at 4,800. Be careful. Obviously, I know we are very, very far away, but you're seeing the day. You're seeing the craziness that is currently playing out. Really, nothing is outside of the question of like what is or isn't possible today. So please just be mindful of all the key levels, even if they're seemingly far away in one direction or the other. How is the Russell looking right there? No, they're all kind of looking the same. Man, all right. Before I ditch, let me show you the flow right now. Here's a look at the S&P 500. We are at pretty much the lowest delta reading of the day after a huge amount of puts. That put delta dropped. And then looking at the Mag 7, we are almost at the high of the day. So the Mag 7 and the S&P 500 are telling two wildly different stories, which pretty much is par for course in this super high vol environment that we are all attempting to deal with. So it's insane. Please respect your risk. If there were a perfect time for you to downsize and be careful, this would be it. This would be it without a doubt. Don't get caught into the trap of chasing losers, revenge trading, oversizing. Don't do that. If you feel it, and we all know when we get into those circumstances, if you feel it, that is a telltale sign to just chill and walk away. It's in these environments that you very much need to think, okay, like, you need to save your account to be able to have an account to trade. So don't put yourself in a situation where there's even some form of a chance that you could theoretically blow out. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's what I have for you for right now. We're going to be posting an update video later on this evening around 7 p.m. Eastern, and then we're going to be streaming once again tomorrow morning around 9 a.m. ET. So I'll see you in the update video tonight. I'll see you in the stream tomorrow morning. Folks, please keep the train on the track. Don't do anything crazy. The market's always going to be here the next day. Trust me, in this craziness, there's going to be bigger moves. There's going to be a continuation of sizable moves. You don't need to worry about catching every single thing. Wait for your setup to be there. Wait for your setup to be there with low risk. Use the appropriate sizing. This is not that time where you're like, I'm just going to be betting everything. It's got to go my way. It very much doesn't, because as you can see, one little piece of news is sending things haywire, and then it can be completely reverted. Getting caught up in the whipsaw, it's painful. It is like legitimately painful. So just do your best to keep your own like mentality and your psychology like in a good place to battle it out through not only the remainder of the session, but all the chaos that's going to be ensuing for seemingly the next handful of trading days and weeks. That's what I have for you. If you're in the Discord, I'm going to be there in a little bit. If you're not in the Discord, feel free to sign up. The very first month is free anyway when you use that code Goonie. But most importantly, check out Public. That's where I trade my options. And I liked it the best just because it gives you rebates. If you want to start out at a higher rebate tier, check it out. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Use that link to start out at a higher rebate tier. If you're interested in options trading, or if you're an options trader, highly, highly, highly recommend it. That's what I have for you now. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.